Well, today marks 1 year since the deadly and devastating Woolsey fire. The nearly 100,000-acre fire broke out just hours after a mass killer's rampage claimed a dozen lives at the Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks. And because of that, the day began with heavy hearts and only got worse. The fire broke out in Woolsey Canyon, and the Woolsey fire would claim 3 lives and burn more than 1,600 buildings over the next several days. At one point, close to 300,000 people were evacuated.
Well, the challenge a year later is rebuilding. The city of Malibu lost, get this, 10% of its total housing. As NBC4's Patrick Healy found out, it's a process that will take years, and for many, it's fraught with frustration. He's live in one of the areas most devastated on Malibu's Point Dume. Hey, Patrick.
Michael and Carolyn, remarkably today it looks idyllic until you realize that behind us there was a row of houses on the ground that has been cleared since the Woolsey fire burned 25 of the 35 houses here on Windermere Road. And as you can see, a year later, we are still early in the recovery process. Across the burn zone, we followed 3 households. Let's begin up in the mountains where Walt and Carolyn Hofer 37 years ago found the site for their dream home and now sadly its interim successor. Carolyn and Walt Hofer have spent most of the past year making do inside a 5th-wheel trailer.
It's frustrating, especially if you let yourself dwell on the stuff you lost.
Their dream house now gone from a bluff above Malibu with an ocean view, taken by the Woolsey fire.
Really mean, nasty fire.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go through that again.
What I really don't want to go through is the rebuilding process.
Rebuilding, a daunting challenge for half a dozen communities, but nowhere more so than in Malibu. Mayor Karen Ferrer.
We lost 10% of our housing inventory. We had people move away.
Where we're standing, you can see a total of 40 homes consumed, and not one of them is under construction.
Across the burn zone, only a few dozen are. Lori Brennan will tell you getting this far was not easy.
It's overwhelming. The things that you have to do, the soil testing, it has to come back, and how does a normal homeowner just even tackle that?
So what is the status of rebuilding? Of 996 homes destroyed by the Woolsey fire, NBC4 has learned only 47 building permits have been issued. That's less than 5% after a year. Building officials do not dispute the process is time-consuming and at times challenging, but Director Mark PESTRELLA told us LA County Public Works is committed to guiding residents through it.
We want to be a problem solver, not a problem creator.
I just wanted to start with a hay barn to protect our hay.
Carol Holmes lost her home and 10 other buildings on her family's White Cloud Ranch off Canaan Road.
This was our income.
Yet to permit even a hay barn, Holmes contends building officials have been unreasonably strict.
What do we need a septic tank and a hay barn for? We're not living in the barn. It's ridiculous.
They say they want you to rebuild, and then you go try to get a permit, and it doesn't seem that way.
Part of the challenge is higher and more costly standards in the years since the lost structures were first approved by building officials.
Their motivation is to rebuild with resiliency and to make sure people are safe, and we're obligated to protect the environment.
The county is waiving some fees, Malibu more, and both offer one-on-one guidance.
A lot of people that were upset, but I truly think people are getting through a little faster now.
Some, like Brennan, are nearing the finish line. Others, like the Hofers in the county area, have decided it's time to move on, finding a new home in Arizona.
God, I'm going to miss this.
And then there are those like Carol Holmes, determined to rebuild, yet feeling stuck in limbo.
It was a beautiful place at one time. It will be again. I just hope I live long enough to see it.
Indeed, the consensus is that full recovery for the Woolsey zone will take 5 to 8 years. And of course, inevitably, there will be more wildfires. The lessons of Woolsey, how to make the next one less devastating, that's coming up in our next report. For now, reporting live from Malibu from Point Dume, Patrick Healy, NBC4 News.